It's not the school. The schools are having trouble. But we have new NGOs, groups like Reach a Hand Uganda.
Yes.
What they're doing is that they are forming partnerships with these Europeans and American social engineers who don't believe in gender of men and women. They think in 23 genders. They think young people should be sexually active. They call it comprehensive sexual education. We're surrounded, and even now as we talk, we are having a bill at the East African community where they're trying to make a law to bring and make this normal in the school. Homosexuality, gender confusion, and promotion there. We're having a big fight. So all of these issues are going on now. Uganda is under attack. So we need people praying. We need people speaking. We need to be on television. Thank you so much for hosting me. I got a t-shirt. I came up with a brand of Straight Nation because this is the idea that we want to raise a group of young people that are not crooked, bent, or queer, but we are straight. We are not doing obscenities. So everybody should come on board. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child. We need teachers, need broadcasters, we need mothers. Everybody should be on the board.
Yes. We'll be getting back to you, Pastor Ssempa, and as we continue this conversation, so we do hope that you actually stay online. Okay, thank you so much. Joining me again is Sophia Nyanzi, and is a parent and social activist. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, you found us in the middle of this conversation in regard to artists being banned from performing and holding concerts in schools. So we'd love to get your take on this.
Well, I think this raising a child, like Pastor Ssempa has said, it takes a village. So ideally, I think it is supposed to be a sort of like a partnership. Parent, teachers, and well, primarily parents, then teachers, and also society. So when artists show up at school dressed the way they are, it questions the values of these other two entities, which is parents and the school. You see, because the school let the artist show up and let the artist actually perform the way they did. So what message are they showing to these kids? Because these kids actually look up to them as role models. Absolutely. So if my child is in that school, I want my child to be to carry forward with the morals that I'm trying to to instill in them at home. So if they get to school and that is disorganized, it becomes difficult for us to work as a group, you see. Do I think that banning the artists is the bigger problem, the problem that we actually have here? Not necessarily. I feel like the morals really have to primarily start at home, and the school has to also take on. The artists should, deal with whatever it is that they have found already implemented. So was it a good thing? Yes and no. Yes and no. So
before we get to the yes and no, I'd like to ask you the same question that I actually posed to Pastor Ssempa. Do you think that it's fair that the Ministry of Education and Sports bans all artists? Because this includes gospel artists who don't put up, the explicit content or dance seductively or suggestively. It also puts even the male artists in the same position, and they are not culprits to this. So do you think it's actually right that they ban all artists?
Me or?
Let's start with you, Ms. Elon.
Now, there is something I would think about. I think the ministry should also put guidelines, or should draw a concept of what or minimum standards of what the entertainers, of what the artists should be in schools, because on the other hand, the students also look up to them as significant others, you see? So they also believe in them. So we are also looking at another fact. How can we use these entertainers as agents of change? We can set standards, the government can set standards, minimum standards, or even give them a code of conduct, or even give them a certain content that can help, because as Pastor Ssempa said, raising a child takes the whole village, yes? Now, what is the role of the entertainment in raising children? We need that. Let the Ministry of Education have that put in place, their role. What is their role to play? For example, if someone came on stage and they're saying that it's not their children and it's parents supposed to take care of their children or parent them, and the artist is coming in with that concept that this is not my child, parent your child, then I'm here to entertain. Then I think we are not on the same page. As she said, we are questioning, are we really on the same page? You see, let the entertainers also be part of the grooming, because if they are influential, we really believe they can do a good part. So let the ministry draw standards, not necessarily putting everything off, but this is a challenge. As Pastor Ssempa said still, yes, the perversive world is very fast, is so fast. And if these students are looking up to these people, we can engage them to also look at intervention measures for the good of the students.
Ms. Sophia, you actually talked about you think that it's right, and on the other hand, you have, your reservations. What are those reservations you have in regard to this direction or directive?
Okay, because for me, indecency cuts across so many things. So it cuts across, one, of course, the dress code, two, the music, the type of music, you see. When you said that the schools do, I don't know, invite gospel artists.
Yeah, some do.
Yes, some do invite gospel artists. So on one hand, you have gospel artists, on the other hand, you have what kind of music did the ministry termed it as, what's the word? Secular. Yeah, okay. That's not the one I was going for.
That's the one, yes.
But okay. Yes, they did, the kind of music that I don't want, that influences the child to want to act upon the lyrics.
Yes.
You see? I mean, so what message still, even if the artist is dressed, in the most modest way, but the music itself, what kind of entertainment is that you're trying to, the direction you're trying to show the kids that, okay, this is how we can entertain you. So on one end, I feel like it's a bad thing because, yes, rather it's a good thing, yes, ban them. And because the music and also the outfits and all this other, the message that is sending, sometimes some of those lyrics shouldn't be, I mean, the kids are going to hear it anyway, but I would rather if they're not listening it, they're not getting it from my school. You see, let them go find it somewhere else, but I'm not going to encourage this while I can. You see, so from one end, I feel like, yeah, it's a good thing they banned them because we should be able to protect the child's innocence for as long as we can. And on the other hand, no, because you see, they are not the primary reason, rather the primary issue here. The issue here comes down to these two entities, the parents and the teachers, and the morals that we are trying as a partnership, trying to instill into these kids.
Yes. Yeah. Ms. Elon, Sheba Karunji, one of the artists that we are talking about in this conversation, said that it's not upon her to actually instill morality in your children. As a parent, do you think that it's you earlier talked about what Pastor Ssempa said, that it takes a village, but do you think that an artist is actually should be in position to instill morals in your child?
Depending. And now, you cannot give out what you are not given. That is first thing. So yeah. If Sheba didn't get that from home, there is no way she can really campaign for that. But most of us got these things from home. And that's why we are really desperate that, yes, that's why we're even strict that this should end. She was talking about something that it's wrong coming dressed decently and speaking otherwise. Yes, I still say let schools be. If she was, actually, this is also another challenge. In my spirit, in my mind, I was wondering, why of all things that schools feel they should bring entertainers at school? That is one thing. Then secondly, I was also wondering, what is going wrong? Because it's like students are taking the lead in this.
Yes.
Students decide, and teachers react.
Yeah.
Students react and parents react. I'm wondering, the teachers, the schools, the parents, the religious leaders, where are we? It seems like the children are taking us on. That is wrong. Let's position students where they're supposed to be. And when we give them the right morals, yes, they'll also feel it is good. But it's now our, Pastor Ssempa was talking about the COVID-19 and what happened. Some of us who do counseling in schools, this is what happened after the COVID-19. We have a lot of pornography around. Because of the phones, these children went into pornography big time. Yeah. We have a lot of masturbation. When we go to schools, it is it's a mess, you see? Yes. Now, it's like bringing these guys at school is promoting. It's like you're taking us too fast to the new normal. It's like we want to accept the perversion in school. It's like we are embracing it positively, which is wrong. So if Sheba feels she's not part of this, she's not part of grooming our children, then I don't think she deserves being part of us, you see? Because she's responsible in a way. She's a mother. I think she's a mother, isn't it?
No,
she's not yet a mother.
She's not a mother.
Oh, this is wrong now. If she's not yet a mother, then she doesn't feel what we feel. You see?
Okay, we'll get into that again because it kind of, give your submission. It looks like Sheba Karunji, because when you talk about she's not a parent, then she doesn't know what you go through as parents. Because her saying that she's not responsible for the morality of your children, at the end of the day, she's actually hired by the school administration to come into school. The school administration does not give her guidelines or restrictions on the dress code, on what content to present or perform to the students, talking about her songs, because some of them are explicit. So don't you think it's actually on the ministry of, not the ministry, but the school administration?
No,
it's absolutely
briefly
the school.
Before we bring in Pastor Ssempa.
Let me tell you, the problem, first of all, is with the school, but also with the school board, with also the school head teacher, with also the careers, the counseling and guidance department, with the senior ladies in that school. There is something they could be promoting. As Pastor Ssempa said, there could be an indirect force for them to be talking about something. There is something you talked about, a school in Nansana, someone who talked about a school in Nansana in Wakiso, whereby they bring artists on every weekend, you see, and I'm wondering, couldn't this be a movement that we are not aware of that is sponsoring such? It may not be. Let's do research. It may be beyond a school. It may be more than what we think a school is doing, but there is a movement behind it.
She is a businesswoman, so really.
Yes, before we come to you, Ms. Sophia, let's talk to Pastor Martin Ssempa for him to actually give us his opinion in regard to what Sheba Karunji said. So, Pastor Martin Ssempa, Sheba Karunji said that she is in no way responsible for, upholding the morals and, the values of children, that it's upon their parents and the school administrations of the schools that she performs to actually do these things.
I'm surprised. I was watching Sheba just a few weeks ago when she was crying on social media and she was saying, oh, I went to perform. And in this very respectable man, a family man, a man with values, and then this man came into my car and was trying to sexually harass me. Oh, this is so terrible. Why is this happening? People should stop it. And then, now, the same person, Sheba, when she herself is now the perpetrator of sexualization of our children, okay? She's coming in shaking, twerking in class. This is what it is. She's twerking in class. She's telling everybody, do like I do, be like me. And then she's bending over, dry humping her music partner. This is unacceptable. This is wrong. So she cannot have it both ways. She can't say, oh, I'm expecting society to be moral. I'm expecting some adults to act like adults. And then when she herself has the opportunity to act as an adult, she is not. She's acting like a prostitute. So and to make claims that, you know what, I'm not here to create morality. We're not asking you to teach morality. We are asking you not to bring your sexual immorality to our children. That's what we are saying. As my sister shared there, we're having a lot of problems. Uganda we have financial problems. Parents have school fees problems. We've spent 2 years of kids at home. We have pornographic problems. Kids are sexually addicted. I talk to teachers in many school day counselors. They tell me kids have a problem of addiction. And now we've also been following an issue of teenage pregnancy. And everybody's a teenage pregnancy, every NGO, every funding group, teenage pregnancy. Now, and what do we open the schools? And they've been saying, open the schools, watch carefully, so that schools are a protective measure from teenage pregnancy. Is this teenage pregnancy protection? No, this is promotion. So I think Sheba is being a hypocrite. Secondly, the fact that she's not married, and I tell these musicians, because I was debating with Cindy yesterday. She's the president of Uganda Musicians Association. Cindy is married. Cindy has 2 children. And Cindy was sharing that, look, because I'm a mother and because I am married, there's some things I cannot do on stage. And we must be age appropriate. There are things for nightclubs. There are things for past midnight. And there are things that you cannot be able to do in school. So apparently, if we don't have the arm of the law to restrain people like Sheba, we will have problems. And the other thing I want to say is 90% of the musicians are on drugs. 90% of these musicians are drug abusers, okay? I'm not saying that in a bad way, and this is the first time I'm bringing it out. But if you have people who are on drugs, they are the ones who are coming into schools, and they are the ones who are performing. They are not normal. They are not in their normal mind. Yes, we've made them celebrities. They're like the Madonnas. They're like the who. And I think that's another solution we need to come up with. We need to begin to incubate good musicians. We need Uganda Communications Commission. In the same way we have rural electrification. In the same way we have Operation Wealth Creation. We need to have a fund that definitely set aside to incubate good music. Because right now, how does musician come? Somebody puts money into them, a manager, and they show off their bodies, and that's how they make it big. But I will share it now. You guys need to know that a lot of the money right now, free money in the city, is LGBT money, homosexual promotion money. And because of that, many musicians, sportsmen, cultural icons are being taken in, and they're being groomed. You are beginning to see musicians who are transgender, okay? Neither boy nor girl. And you know, music is the way, because music is a bypass. You don't think through. As you can see the kids in that video, they're just singing the songs. Did they learn the songs in the class? No, they learn them at home. They learn them in the sitting room, in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening. So I think we see Minister of Education has taken action, but we desperately need Uganda Communications Commission. Minister of ICT, Chris Bariomunsi, is not doing his job.
Pastor
He
Ssempa
needs to do more. Yes.
Now, getting back to the artists as well as the music, now that they have banned the artists with immediate effect, much as, you know, they will be following up and seeing how this gets into effect. Does the music, or, you know, the music, do we ban the music as well? Does the Ministry of Education and Sports ban the music as well? Because I'll tell you something, that during the dances in school, even when there are no performing artists, this same music is actually played in school. So do they ban the music as well, or it's just the artists?
Thank you for that question. I think you're asking a question that the answer is we need to actually have music literacy. We need to have music literacy to be able to separate obscenities, indecencies from good music. And I don't think anyone is teaching that. I was an entertainment prefect in Namilyango for 1986, 1988. it was my job to choose which music, which films. Now there are students who bring blue movies, pornographic movies as student leaders, because that's going to get the crowd going. So even within those issues, we need to engage. For the young people, we need to give them a course in music literacy. It's got to be part of their skills. How do you distinguish between good film and bad film, good series and bad series? Then we need to look at the entertainment prefect regulations. Who has access to our children? This is extremely important because parents are not there. Parents have given mandate to the teacher and the administration to make sure they protect their children. It is criminal to expose young people to early sexualization. It's criminal, it's wrong. Listen, sex for anybody below 18 years old is defilement. A lot of people are in jail in Uganda's prison because of defilement. There's a spread of HIV. We have a lot of problems. So there is need to actually review the entire entertainment system because it's not helping our young people. We used to have Father Grimes in Namasagali, okay? Which is where the Blue Three people came from. Father Grimes and this Namasagali was greatly known as a school that promotes talent, okay? Many of our current artistic people have come from there. They used to have school dances, but they were not obscene, okay? No, they used creative. To have artistic promotion, plays at National Theatre. We need to incubate to become content creators, not content consumers. And we need to create new heroes. In the same way we gave money to Rocco, the same way the government say, look, we have a desperate situation. Rocco is going to go down. We need to give money to Rocco. We need to put aside a fund of billions of shillings to be able to incubate musicians so that they can contribute to national development. While we are talking abstinence, being faithful, we're talking about no corruption. What are musicians singing? Corruption. We need to link music to national development goals. We need to see musicians promoting agriculture, tourism, excellence in education. Sheba needs to be taught, and you know, there are people who cannot, they don't do things because they can be, it's inside them. They have to be regulated. The last thing I would like to see, I want to do a Sunday regularly where I gather these musicians and we have a worship and we be able to speak to them, because often on social media I tell Denzo, umwana gwo okuze funa omukyalo wase. I said, Sheba, you need to get a wife. You need to get a husband. You are running around. You have grown. You have money. Okay. I don't know who tells Sheba to get married. But we need people to tell these young people. So I'm planning to have they call them Celebrity Sundays, where we gather them and minister to them and get elders like you, my people who are there, to come and speak to them. And then the other is protect our children from this homosexual agenda. There is millions of dollars in Kampala city, which is being given to musicians, sports group, filmmakers, for the purposes of impressing and stimulating our young people and taking them into homosexuality. Let me make this final point. You may ask me, how does sexual stimulation of a boy and a girl lead to homosexuality? One, it's never a man and a man in the first place. It's always a man and a woman doing their sexual thing. Then everybody gets excited, and then they slowly take you to a man and a man and a woman and a woman. That's how all those pornographic movies are. So this is stage one. Uganda is under attack. What they are doing in Europe and America, where boys are saying they are girls, and then girls are saying they're boys, is what they want to put us here. Let's not take this slowly. This is a huge issue, and I thank Minister of Education for starting out. Now we need to go more. We need to go to ICT. We need to go Media Council. We need to go more musicians, and we need to go more funding of new music or even better music There is a fund of music for musicians to make good music. Otherwise, they tell me, Pastor, when you make a good video where girls are not naked, you don't make money.
Okay, Pastor
But when
Ssempa,
the girls are taking off, I mean, look at these guests. Look at the guests in the studio. Look how they are dressing. They look